In this video today, we're finally going to talk about Pyrois. Everything from his kit, his team synergies, how to build him the right way, his Mindscapes, and more. As a reminder, all of the content in this video is from the creator beta server of Zenless Zone Zero. As such, some information, results, and values may slightly change for full release. Thank you very much to Hoyoverse for granting early access, and let's talk about Zenless Zone Zero's bizarre adventure. Pyrois is our upcoming free S-rank ether attack agent from Phaethon. That's right, just from playing the story and the events, we'll not only get a free S-rank character in Pyrois, but as more patches come out, we'll get more Mindscapes and his W engine as well. But of course, there's a couple of important concepts we gotta go over so that you can master this fairly simple character very easily. Pyrois is an on-field main DPS, so let's start by taking a look at his meter under his character profile LinkedIn picture. This is the solar prominence meter, and when you have at least 30, you'll unlock his main source of damage, his enhanced basic attack. Also note that this meter can hold a ton of solar prominence, so you can have multiple uses of celestial light in a row. Generally, you'll acquire this solar prominence just from using any of his moves. The second important concept with Pyrois is not one, not two, not three, but 4 different ultimates. Once you're in the ultimate, you'll have a choice of using the upper branch, the lower branch, the left branch, or the right branch, and they all do slightly different things. We'll go over each branch in extreme detail once we get to it in the kit breakdown section. But for now, just know that you need to stack solar prominence, and that's pretty much the main loop with Pyrois. Let's go behind the scenes on his kit and see why he's so strong, but extremely simple at the same time. Regular basic attack Ember Glow is just 3 attacks forward, all dealing ether damage, and there's not much to say about it. Basic attack Celestial Light, on the other hand, is extremely important, and it's activated with at least 30 solar prominence. This is a total of 4 attacks forward and deals massive ether damage. If you switch into a different character during the 3rd hit, you'll automatically go into the 4th hit from off-field. You'll gain some solar prominence back, and you're still invulnerable during the 3rd and 4th hits. Make sure to also note that this doesn't take away all of your solar prominence. However, it is technically chargeable. As you hold down the basic attack button, you'll charge up more hits of Celestial Light. I found myself just pretty much maxing it out every time I used it, but there is some certain manual chain attacking you can do with it and other techniques like that. This move is really cool because it's a very consistent form of damage. Pyrois doesn't have a lot of huge spikes or downtime where he's not dealing as much. Throughout whatever battle you're in, he'll just stay perfectly consistent, always churning out good damage. You won't be using special attack Fading Rays too much, but it is funny to use, and I do really like the animation. Pyrois has another special attack called Assault Directive, which will automatically perform an assist attack dealing ether damage when you use Ultimate or EX Special. This effect can trigger once every 2.5 seconds and is guaranteed to trigger when using an ultimate. EX Special attack Sun's Halo will be pressed when you have enough energy. You'll charge forward and perform a consecutive attack string, dealing massive ether damage. But this also has a built-in perfect block effect if you get hit during the charge. Also, with at least 30 solar prominence, you can hold down the basic attack to immediately go back into the 3rd hit of basic attack Celestial Light. You'll see this is quite a common theme pretty much throughout his entire kit. For example, that's pretty much all we need to mention about the dodge counter, is that it has this follow-up attack ability. It's the same thing with his chain attack, and both his regular assist and assist follow-up. But now let's get to the really cool thing. When your decibel rating is at 2,000 for Pyrois, press Q to activate one of 4 different ultimate choices. If you're looking at the skill list, it looks like the ultimates all do the same thing. But don't forget that we have 4 different branches. This blurb just tells us about it going back into basic attack Celestial Light, much like the rest of his kit. Before we go further, there's one important thing to think about with this ultimate. Depending on what team you'll use, which we'll talk about in the synergy section, you may be able to get multiple ultimates off from Pyrois in one stun window. Keep this in mind as we talk about the ultimate. When you do enter the ultimate, you'll have a choice of these 4 branches, so let's start with the upper branch. This one's called Total Annihilation. and I like to think of it as extra crit damage against stunned enemies. This crit damage boost to the ultimate is just called the Mirage state, but let's pay attention to the last part of this blurb. During the 4th hit of basic attack Celestial Light, and with you having 30 or more solar prominence, you can chain right back into the 3rd hit of Celestial Light, and this can last for 21 seconds, with repeated triggers resetting the duration. Next up, let's talk about the lower branch, Ultimate Triumphant Return. This one enters the Sun Flare state, but think about it as an energy generation rate and damage boost. 15% for the energy generation rate and 40% damage dealt increase. Plus, when triggering a perfect block with EX Special, you can get 10 more solar prominence. This will last 200 seconds with repeated triggers resetting the duration. So ultimately, with no pun intended, this is a really good option to stack more solar prominence. The left branch is called Ultimate Unbound Swordstorm. This one is the most simple, as Pyrois' heavy attacks that hit enemies in the Contamination state deal 900% of attack as additional damage. This state is activated when a wind attribute pairs up with a different attribute of any type. You'll see this most prominently in Valina's kit, which we'll talk about in her early access video, so make sure to subscribe for that. My favorite branch is the right, Ultimate Eternal Imprisonment. Remember how I said you could get off a couple of ultimates during each stun window if you have the right team comps? Well, here's really why that's important. Hugo Vlad would be really proud of this one, because heavy attacks that hit stunned enemies trigger Totalize, dealing 2,250% of attack as additional damage. The cool thing with this right branch is the last 3 lines here, because it'll extend the duration of the stun window by 3 seconds, and when the finishing move hits, the enemy's stun state will end. All that really means is that if the enemy is stunned, they're guaranteed to get hit by this Totalize. This part of the video would usually be where I would talk about the core passives, but we kinda already did. Core passive Radiant Chariot just talks about solar prominence in more detail and reviews what we've already said, where you'll gain 30 upon entering the battlefield, can hold a max of 60, and will earn more by landing different attacks on enemies, plus you'll passively gain 0.5 solar prominence every second. Literally the rest of this core passive talks about each of the individual branches like we just did for a good amount of time. So let's move on to the additional ability Glorious Legion, which will activate with another stun or support character. Pyrois crit damage will increase by 40%, and using a chain attack will grant 300 decibels. And that's it! So as you can see, Pyrois is actually really easy to use, has strong damage, and I think you'll have a lot of fun playing him. Because of how simple and powerful he is, his team synergies are all really easy too. Remember that Pyrois is an on-field main DPS, so he pairs extremely well with both really amazing off-field supports, as well as stunners in general. His best team will consist of himself, Dialin, and either Astriao or Suna, but this list of teams are all really capable of doing the endgame content. I mean, you can already imagine the absolute damage Dialin can do by stacking another ultimate for Pyrois in a stun window, like I mentioned before. Astriao is also an interesting addition because her ultimate can upgrade a teammate's quick assist into a chain attack. And from what we just saw with the additional ability, that really speeds up Pyrois' cycle. As another option, I also liked Jufufu as my stunner for Pyrois because of those extra decibels from using their ultimate. Let's move right along and talk about the best way to build Pyrois, which is equally as simple as the rest of his kit. I mean, we get his free best in slot W engine, Sol Exuvia, just for playing the game. Like other attack agents, Pyrois really likes both crit rate, crit damage, as well as attack percent. Which is a good thing because the advanced stat of Sol Exuvia is attack percent. You'll gain a free 20% crit rate, and a new Eclipse effect from using his ultimate. You can also gain it from entering combat, and it will ignore 16% of ether resistance for the enemy, lasting 45 seconds, with repeated triggers resetting the duration. If you've seen my other early access videos, you know I always make a comparison to the Mindscapes between this W engine. But we don't even have to do that either, because we get all of it for free! But of course we also need to talk about his disk drives. There is only one 4-piece you ever need to worry about for Pyrois, because the set Sky Ablaze was made just for him. Not only will you gain the 10% ether damage, the 30% crit damage when you're an ether attribute agent, but also when using an EX special attack or ultimate, your attack will increase by 10% for 30 seconds as well. As for 2 pieces, there's 2 different options depending on what you need for crit. If you need more crit rate, use Woodpecker Electro. If you need more crit damage, use Branch and Blade Song. It's really that simple. As for main stats, we want to get as close as possible to 100% crit rate, especially for that totalize. For slot 4, start with crit rate and then change it to crit damage if you want more. Slot 5 should be ether damage bonus, or attack or pen ratio with really good substats, and slot 6 should only be attack percent. Substats follow the same priority, with crit rate having the edge over crit damage, being better than attack percent, and then the rest. For those of you who want a little bit more power out of Pyrois, we also get free Mindscapes. They're both extremely simple, with Mindscape 1 giving Pyrois 1000 decibels and 8% crit rate upon entering the battlefield, and Mindscape 2 says that when using the bottom branch, Triumphant Return, you'll gain 1500 decibels, triggering once every 180 seconds, and your decibel limit will increase by 1000. Which basically just means way more ultimate cycles and way faster charging for Pyrois. And there you have it for Phaethon's brand new stand! I gotta say, I really love Pyrois' simplistic design, and I can't wait to see what unfolds in the story. But as usual, I want to hear from each and every one of you, so let me know in the comments what you think about Pyrois. Make sure to also like the guide if it helped in any way, and subscribe for more Zenless Zone Zero, especially Valina's early access coming out very shortly. In the meantime, I appreciate every single one of you taking the time to watch this video, and I want you to all remember that you are loved. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.